Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bet the Edge. Thanks, everyone, watching on our NBC Sports YouTube channel. It is Thursday, so V-Money and the Well Capper is back. I may have missed last week, Drew, but I missed you, and I'm feeling better today. So I hope you're doing well. How was your week? Did you enjoy All-Star Weekend?
Sure.
Trick question. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be like completely candid with you. On one hand, it's nice to have a break. Every time, it's the NBA season can be a grind, betting it daily. On the other hand, the All-Star break resets fatigue for every team. So there goes, my strongest edge over the balance of the next 5 weeks, or not 5 weeks, but 5 games for a lot of these teams. Yeah. So, resetting it was tough, but and the actual, product itself was, no comment.
Yeah. I agree with you. There's a lot of games cut up on the NBA slate we're going to cover because there's 12 games on Thursday, 10 on Friday. So NBA is coming back 100%, 100 miles per hour right away after the All-Star game. But before we talk about the NBA, producers thought we'd have a fun game going today, Drew. Do a little bit of blind side-by-side resumes in college basketball. And I've been heating up in college hoops, but we don't know the resume teams here. So we only know we don't know who the teams are. We just know the resumes side by side. So we're going to attempt to compare the resumes today, pick who we prefer to bet on, and then those teams will be revealed to us. So You're going to go first. You ready for that?
I mean, I'm so plugged into college basketball. This should be pretty easy. But yeah.
Hey, luckily you have me here. I just came off the flu for a week, so I've been all basketballed out. So I got you. So we will go Team A. Team A is a projected 1 seed by Partorvik, and they are ranked 6th in offensive efficiency, 17th in defensive efficiency. What's to like about this team is they're 7-3 against quad 1 opponents, 20-5 overall, plus 240 to make the Final Four. We'll look at Team B now, Drew. Team B, projected 3 seed. When you look at them, though, 22nd in offense, 15th in defense, 6-4 against quad 1 and 20-6 overall, but they're plus 425 to make the Final Four. So slightly lower numbers, but they're right there as a 3 seed. Any idea who Team A, Team B is, and who do you like more?
The Team A is somewhat guessable because there's pretty solid right now projected top 4. And I know Houston. I know the Houston Cougars well. This isn't Houston. So we're talking
their defense
about
be higher.
Yeah, I don't think this is Purdue. So this is either UConn or Arizona. I'm leaning Arizona just because of the conference record. I think UConn's only lost 2 in conference. So this is probably Arizona, who I'm kind of cool on, but not like cold on. Team B, I really couldn't guess here. This is wide open. If you're holding these up side by side and you're saying, would you rather take a team that's 6th in offense with the, middling defense, or, maybe a little bit better, or little below, on kind of Sweet 16 expectation offense and right on the bubble Sweet 16 expectation defense. I don't think plus 425 is enough to get me excited about Team B here. And I think 18-1 to win the national title versus 10-1 to win the national title when you have a 1 seed path versus a 3 seed path. I mean, like, kind of the unspoken thing about the 1 seeds, and particularly if this is Arizona, they're going to be on the West Coast, and the Final Four is in Glendale, so you could have a little home cooking. I think realistically, I think the West region, if I'm not mistaken, is LA, so yeah, not a huge heavy lift for them travel wise. So I'm gonna take Team A here, 10-1 to win the title. I think would be my bet. That's kind of assuming that this is Arizona. If it's UConn, then I got some explaining to do.
I mean, if it was 10-1 for UConn, that'd be a heck of a deal.
That's a good point.
Definitely top 2 team. But yeah, I agree. I think Arizona is Team A also. I think it's pretty easier to decide because it's a projected 1 seed there. But the third team's tough because I was thinking maybe a Marquette or Creighton. A top 20 and borderline top 20 offense and defense. Those probably fill out as both teams, but I'm going to reveal these, Drew. I just got the answers, and you're right. Team A, Arizona, So 10-1 on the Wildcats. You chose, no kidding, was the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Okay.
I would guess that.
Okay. So
it's a good pick.
I'm kind of shocked that that's the North Carolina prices right now. My goodness, there's some inflation.
18-1 on national title.
Yeah, this is a little bit of legacy. This is a little bit of blue blood shading here, I think. The fact that, because we can restate the numbers: 22nd in offensive efficiency, 15th in adjusted defense. That's not great. Like, honestly, like if they get to the Sweet 16, that's a success. If you're, kind of pulling those type of numbers, and that if you're the 3 seed, realistically you're expecting to play the 2 and the 1 to get then to the Final Four. Plus 425 isn't nearly enough. 18-1 isn't nearly enough. And now, if you factor in recent form in particular, I know they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, but there's been some pretty uninspiring stuff coming out of Old Chapel Hill. So those are kind of toxic prices on North Carolina, and I'm not saying that just because I am cold on North Carolina. Those look rough.
Yeah, North Carolina's 3-3 in their last 6 games, so definitely trending in the wrong direction compared to maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when we were talking about them. I was saying this could be a national championship team that makes a run. Like, this team is that talented, but they're kind of falling off at the wrong time as we enter March. But I think you made the right call with the resume. Team A, which was Arizona, was clearly the right decision over Team B, who was North Carolina. So hands off.
You like my rationale of going for the title price over Final Four for Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk you off of either of them. I think Arizona offensively can hang with anybody in the country. Like, UConn is a team Arizona could play and run up the score with 80, 90 points each. It's as far as if Arizona runs into Houston. I don't know how many points Arizona scores on them. I do like the path for Arizona as a 1 seed, though, Drew. So I'm with you.
Okay. All right, well, your turn. I'm going to pick 2 teams for you here. I haven't picked them, but I don't know who they are. This is chosen by the producers here. The first of these teams is a projected 2 seed by Bart. They are first in the country in offensive efficiency, 66th in adjusted defense. Wow.
It's one of 2 teams. That's either Alabama or Kentucky.
Yeah, there's a pretty narrow window of who that could be. Ken Palm rates them also first in offensive efficiency, 72nd in defense. They have a 2-6 record against quad 1 opponents, 18-7 overall, 10-2 conference, 8-2 in the last 10 games. So they're playing better recently, but 2-6 against quad 1 opponents. I think that's a red flag. They are 425 to make the Final Four, so about the same price as North Carolina. 18-1 to win the national title, so exactly the same price as North Carolina. And they are up against the team that is also a projected 2 seed, but we're going to flip-flop this a little bit. They're 18th in offense, 5th in defense. So this is a defensive focused squad. 5-5 against Q1 opponents, 10-6 overall, 10-3 in conference. Also 8-2 last 10 games. So these 2 teams are playing well right now. Your second team having the better defense and being better against the quad 1 opponents, that comes with a little bit of a price discount, Vaughn. I'm only going to give you plus 300 to make the Final Four and 13-1 to win the national title. If you had to make a choice, you go on Team C or Team D.
I believe defense wins championship, so it's clearly Team D with that edge. I mean, first in offensive efficiency sounds great, but when you're talking 66 or 72nd, there's obviously a discourse, and that's why you're probably 2-6 against quad 1 opponents this year. Now, when you break it down, like if you've watched college basketball all season, you clearly know who one of the quickest tempo, best offenses are with a terrible defense. Like I said, it's either Alabama or Kentucky. I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide for Team C. I feel like that they haven't been winning their big games. And they lost who they lose to earlier this year? Ohio State. So I feel like Alabama, that's probably them in this spot, even though I know they're not a Q1 team. Team D, though, it could be Iowa State, could be Auburn.
Well, you picked him. Who do you want to
against? Yeah. 5-5 against quad 1 opponents. I feel like Iowa State would be better than that, Drew. Maybe if we're going Alabama versus somebody, this has to be another SEC team. And if we're talking defense, I'm going to say this could be Tennessee. maybe.
It is Tennessee.
And I would take. Let's go.
It is Tennessee. And you're right. The first choice was Alabama. So this was Alabama versus Tennessee. And what's interesting about this is you threw out Auburn as a potential candidate for Team D. Man, I'm looking at the numbers between Tennessee and Auburn. It's the same team. What in the heck?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What in the heck?
Like,
holy smokes!
Numbers here. If we were given road numbers, I think this would be a little easier for me.
Yeah,
because I know who's terrible, and Auburn would have been an easy pick.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, like Tennessee was always my horse in the SEC. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago when they were going on the road at Kentucky and kind of pumping them up as live in that game. Since then, my opinion hasn't really changed. I think they are still clearly a top 10 team, but boy, oh boy, has Auburn been playing good basketball. Boy, oh boy, is either of those a better bet than Alabama right now. I mean, goodness gracious! We're coming off a year where Alabama was a 1 seed and they broadly underperformed in the tournament itself, I thought. Now with a little bit similar offensive firepower but a much worse defense, it's tough for me to see Alabama keeping. I guess we shouldn't be surprised if they draw like a real frisky 7-10 matchup, right? And somebody from the WCC, right? Or one of the kind of mid majors comes and picks Alabama's pocket. Would not shock me at all. So I think you made a great choice there, Tennessee being the side over Alabama. And I guess final closing thoughts from you, Vaughn. If you have to make a fire away on Tennessee, are you more intrigued by 3-1 to win the Final Four, to make it to the Final Four, or a 13-1 national title price on them?
Not taking the national title price. The Final Four would be the route for me with the Tennessee Vols.
Okay.
Not sure.
We agree.
If they're even their top 20 offensive efficiency rating, like that may be due to who they have played. They're at some points in the season, but they've also played a lot of higher tempo teams. So I don't know. I think it was an easy choice, Drew, between C or D. If you're giving me potentially Alabama or Kentucky, for anyone who watches those two teams, knew that was probably Team C. And I'm definitely not putting money on them to make the Final Four of the championship. So feel great about Tennessee Vols. They picked you to go twice, so you're going to go Team E versus Team F here.
Okay.
I hope you're ready. And this isn't as easy on you, man, because these are projected 5 seeds by Bart Torvik. So
they're both going to be out in round 1. Okay.
Hey, I'll help you. I got you. Offensive efficiency for Team E, 53rd on defense. Pulling to Bart Torvik here. This team is 19-7 overall. They are 7-6 in conference play. Yikes. With a 4-5 record against Quad 1. Plus 6,000 to win the national title, 14-1 to make the Final Four.
Okay.
That's tough. Team F doesn't get any easier, Drew. They are ranked 16th in offensive efficiency, 50th in defense. According to Ken Palm, they're 44th in defense, so top 50. This team, 18-9 overall, 10-6 in conference play, and 6-6 against Quad 1 opponents. 12-1 to make the Final Four, 50-1 to win the national title.
Okay, so we're just based on these numbers, we're putting a line through national title for both of these teams. Not into it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
The Final Four prices are intriguing. You're getting a little bit better price here for Team E, but that comes with a resume that's, I think, pretty big, pretty clearly lesser, right?
Just a step below.
Just a step below. I guess I have a key question for you. And before choosing one of these projected 5 seeds, which one draws Purdue as the 1 seed?
Which one draws Purdue as the 1 seed?
Because that's really all that matters. Like the other team is not getting out to the Elite Eight. I don't think, even with the reasonable draw. But I think the answer here is Team F. I think F has the more impressive resume. Hey, just 12 games against Quad 1 opponents. That's not trivial. Like, you've been playing some serious basketball. Like, you've been playing some big boy teams. If you're 6-6 against Q1s. Although actually that makes me think maybe you're in the Big Ten, and Big Ten I have a very, very toxic feeling about in terms of March Madness success. A little bit better defensive efficiency, and a little bit better record against good opponents makes me lean F. yeah, I think realistically, if you're shooting for a 4-5 to get the Final Four, we need to know where you land in the bracket and whether or not you drop Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, picking who these teams might be, I don't know if you have a guess. I know you just mentioned Big Ten. I'm thinking one of these two is a Big Ten school.
Sure.
And the one team I've been covering a lot, Drew, is the Wisconsin Badgers. And them and the Michigan State Spartans sound like they could be Team F potentially.
Okay, well, let's cross fingers for Michigan State because they always, they at least have the kind of X factor.
Our producer said one is a Big 12 and one's a Big 10 school. So this is one of them is absolutely Wisconsin or Michigan State, absolutely. And I don't think you want either of them, but I'd rather have, I guess, Michigan State. Wisconsin playing their worst basketball of the season. Any guess on the Big 12 school before we reveal who you took?
Man, I'm trying to think of a Big 12 school that has this bad of a defense. I would have said Baylor, but Baylor's probably their Baylor offense is better than either of these teams. Maybe one of them is Baylor. Maybe team E Baylor.
Baylor's not a bad one. Yeah, maybe I guess Baylor or BYU maybe.
There's the answer.
You think so?
Well, no, I
don't know.
Yeah. Producer Dan just says there's the answer.
Oh, let's go. Team E, I think it was Baylor was my first guess though, so I was with you there. Team E is BYU and Team F is Wisconsin.
Okay.
You would have rather have Wisconsin than BYU.
I think I would, but I would rather have Michigan State than either of those teams. I don't know, man. Wisconsin is a really tough one. They laid down so aggressively against Purdue the other week. It was kind of disconcerting, I guess. And I know, 6-6 against quad one opponents. They've had some impressive performances, but I'm going to need to comb that resume and those head-to-heads a little bit more carefully to find games where I was like especially impressed with them. They get their lunch fed to them by Arizona. And just in general had a really rough stretch, including that, non-compete. Well, it wasn't really non-compete. They lost to Purdue by 6. But some other bad losses kind of in the mix there that really kind of shook my confidence in this team in general. So I don't know. If they can gain a little, they have an easy-ish finale to the season with the exception of their final game at Purdue. If they can pick up a little bit of momentum here and beat some of these teams as favorites, including Indiana, Illinois, Rutgers, then maybe we revisit this come tourney time. But I think both BYU and Wisconsin are probably out of the mix for me in terms of Final Four shots.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin was one of the teams I had very high hopes on into the Big Ten season. Thought they could potentially be the clear number 2 and 16-4 start, and then they've gone 2-5 over the last 7 games. Not the best time to be buying into Wisconsin, but as far as value-wise, this is the best time to be buying into Wisconsin. And they do have the 8th most minutes back from last year, Drew, 72% of their minutes back, top 50 experienced team. So at least you have that in the Wisconsin Badgers. But I enjoyed that. Some blind resumes. That last one was tough, though. E versus F, that was pretty tough. Thanks for the hint, Producer Dan. Any lasting thoughts, Drew, before we head over to NBA?
I think ultimately everything I've seen in the last week and last 2 weeks is just really entrenching me in my Houston bubble, right? Like pretty happy with the price I got there. Pretty unimpressed with what I'm seeing from a lot of these other teams that could put together something special. I know that ultimately UConn is still going to be a really, really tough out, particularly if they get the path that's likely to kind of take them specifically through the Northeast until we get to the Final Four. I'm next time we do this, I might be taking neither, and just unless one of them's Houston.
Yeah, I was about to say, unless it says number 1 defensive efficiency, Drew's like, I'm out. I'm not taking it. I absolutely love that there, and hopefully we can get that going next week here because college basketball season is really heating up in a lot of ways, and I've been loving everything I've seen. But I do agree with you. I think the Houston Cougars are the best team because of their defense and how they can slow anybody down The UConn Huskies right there with them, though, even though they just came off their first loss in a double-digit amount of games. But they're both head over heels better than Purdue, Drew. But we have plenty of time to talk about Purdue over the next few weeks. So we won't spoil everyone listening here. But if you do want to be spoiled, you should probably check out some women's basketball on Thursday, because fresh off setting the all-time women's scoring record, Caitlin Clark and Iowa hit the road for a top 15 matchup against Indiana on Thursday night. Watch another chapter in Clark's historic season at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Peacock. And we got plenty of more basketball coming for you guys, because the NBA slate is very heavy. I encourage everyone who wants to hear. Now, hold on. Let me backtrack for a second, Drew. Everybody had an opinion over the last three or 4 days about All-Star Weekend, right? How many people offered opinions on how to fix these issues? Real opinions.
Man, very few.
Not many. Very few.
A lot of belly aching and not a lot of like real, not exactly like you laid it up.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not going to spend all your time, because this is a show meant to make you guys some money and give you some advice. But the Roto World basketball show, I was on it earlier, gave some really good ideas, and the guys are blown away. And I'm telling you, Drew, put me on the panel, baby. We're going to fix the slam dunk contest. But to do that, I need some more money, because, no one that's going to be sitting in their extra room or their apartment is going to be fixing the slam dunk contest without a bunch of money, right? So that's where you enter. You have to win me some coin. And there's a lot of games to choose from, because 12 games on Thursday, 10 on Friday, a lot of back-to-back situations, or 3 games in 4 nights upcoming. And you alluded to it a little bit earlier in the show. Rest is a big deal right now. Yeah. What are you looking at?
All right. So there's one game that stands above the rest by a lot tomorrow, and it's kind of must watch. And what's funny is that there's been like a little bit of an ongoing I don't want to put down the product, but like,
is it Phoenix, Dallas?
No, LA, Thursday. So Thursday TNT games have been a little cursed this year. Like, they haven't really had the wow factor in terms of teams. And then when they have, one team has just absolutely dump trucked the other team, and it hasn't been very watchable, right? And sure enough, the best game of this Thursday's slate is not a TNT game. It's the LA Clippers at the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Should have knew it.
This is I mean, like, if you forced me, like, hey, like, what is the Western Conference Finals going to be right now? Just make a decision. This is what I would expect, and I think ultimately a preview of how these teams, will handle end of game situations. Can Oklahoma City defend, an offensive set that has 5 guys that can create and a big that can defend the rim in the final 4 minutes? Like, this is going to be fascinating. What is Oklahoma City going to do if they need to kind of close the gap at the end of this one? They're obviously at home. And like non-trivial favorites in this one, but 2-point favorites. I would have made it 2.5, and I know I'm high on the Clippers, like, by relative to market. So I think this is probably a look for Oklahoma City, but even more than that, this is like big time important information mining here. And ultimately, I think that's the game of the night. The other two on TNT are going to be interesting, right? Phoenix and Dallas are a fun matchup. You get Luka versus Devin Booker. Obviously, no love lost there. Just in general, that was a pretty entertaining game on Christmas. Not like awesome, but it was somewhat entertaining. Just in general, could be a preview of some high leverage matchups come playoff time. LA Golden State is interesting as well. That's the other TNT game. This has got whiffs of elimination game about it, which is always kind of fun and interesting. And then, what else do you need to know for handicapping the card tomorrow? The Knicks are still far under 100%. No OG Anunoby. He will not expected to be back until March. No Julius Randle. We are not expecting to see him until March. So they got the much needed break to get some of the guys who are playing massive minutes a little bit of a breather here. But it's still a relatively injured group going up against a Philly team that's going to be pretty much at full strength, with the exception of DeAnthony Melton, who is going to be missing probably 1 or 2 more games. So Other than that, basically everybody's healthy. There are no kind of questionable players that I think really move the needle outside of Bradley Beal against Dallas. And I am not expecting Bradley Beal to go. I think Phoenix is going to put him in very, very much in kid gloves between now and when we get to, kind of the business end of the season, really the last 10 games probably. Ultimately, I think Domantas Sabonis goes for the Kings, and everybody else that is relatively important. Brandon Ingram, I think, goes for the Pels, and that about rounds out the questionables.
No, I think that's an overall great breakdown of the NBA. I thought it was interesting to see the Sixers as a pick'em or 1-point favorite against the Knicks, but the Knicks are getting a little healthier. Dante DiVincenzo and Isaiah Hartenstein both practice, trying to attempt to play here, so that'll be a big boost for the Knicks. But overall across the board, I thought a lot of games right up front, rushing some of these guys back. Some of the stars may not be in the best form or shooting form entering these games. Maybe Tyrese Halliburton and Damian Lillard are after what they did in the All-Star game, but that may be the only exceptions, Drew. Is your favorite look of the card going to be the Clippers?
OKC. Yeah, I'm going to lay it with OKC there. Yeah, because I know I'm high on Clippers, and because I show a half a point edge there, that's the one I want. So, yeah.
Now, if we're talking future prices, would you rather have the Clippers though under?
Yes, better price, or at least more realistic getting at home. And we're going to end up talking about the Thunder a lot between now and the end of the regular season and in the playoffs. Like, there's no question about it. Like, they are going to be a factor, and their price is better than the Clippers by a lot. And even still, I'm passing because I still hold out a modicum of experience matters come playoff time. Figuring out exactly what you do at end of game situations is a learning process. And if SGA can be kind of an ISO dynamo in late in series against a team like the Clippers, then I kind of want to pay to see it. You have so much switchability. You have kind of elite specific on ball defense. I think it could be pretty tough for the Thunder in a best of 7 against these guys. That said, in a in OKC at full strength, I think it should be more like OKC minus 2.5 or 3.
Okay, I love that, and I am high on the Thunder as well this season. I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in my pocket at 3-1 for MVP, so I'm hoping they at least are 1 or 2 seed here. But I do like the Clippers and what they've done, and I've been a Clippers hater, Drew, and you know that more than anyone. But I might end up joining the train if they continue the success here, because I think the East and the West is a little more open than we think. The East is dominated by the Celtics, but there could be a team that sneaks up, and we'll be talking about that as weeks go on. Do want to preface before we get to our best looks or futures, probably futures market we'll be talking about here for a second. But I want to let everyone know that spring training is also here. You need to be on the lookout for the upcoming MLB season. So you grab your Roto-World Baseball Draft Guide, loaded with comprehensive positional rankings, projections, and player profiles to ensure your draft is a success. Just visit NBCSports.com/draft guide. Use code baseball24 to get 10% off at checkout. So, Drew, we didn't talk too much daily betting. You got the Thunder as your best bet. I'm going to ask you this. Out of the 3 most bet teams to miss the playoffs, who would you be willing to put your money on? The Miami Heat, the Dallas Mavericks, or the Chicago Bulls?
Absolutely the Bulls. It's not even close. I think the Heat and the Mavericks are getting in, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was too easy for you, so I'm going to hit you with a second one. How about to make the playoffs?
Okay.
Who would you put your money on? The Lakers, the Warriors, or the Pacers?
Oh, this is tough. This is tough.
Or none of them.
This is tough. The Pacers are a yes for me. The Lakers are a yes for me, and the Warriors are a no.
Whoa, Charles Barkley was wrong. They don't even make the play-in.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I don't hate it. They got Klay Thompson coming off the bench now. Brandon Podziemski is a starter. Things are changing in Golden State, Drew. They are trying to change with the times, but it may be too late.
Yeah.
Father Time may have caught up already. But love the looks here. The Thunder are your best bet. I'll have a bunch of college basketball plays on the slate, but for Thursday, I'll be laying it with the Minnesota Golden Gophers at home against Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State just beat Purdue on Sunday, Drew, and I lost some coin on that one. Want my money back. And they rushed the court. We all know after good you're a fade on the road the next game. So that's it for the Bet the Edge episode. Anything you want to add, Drew, or tell the listeners? Any shout outs?
I mean, I guess people keep pinging me about WTA Dubai. We have a major women's tennis tournament going on out in the desert, and I still do not understand these prices. Rybakina is clearly running out of gas. She said as much. Like she's got the easier half of the draw, but she could ultimately pull the plug before she even gets to the final and withdraw, which would open up the door for a number of very untested challengers getting to the final. Iga, I think, has a massive advantage over Zhang and then Goff in the next 2 rounds. If Goff even gets there, Kalinskaya could very easily beat Goff. Goff should have probably lost today to Pliskova. So Iga, I think, should be more like minus 165 here. And she's still plus money to win this tournament. So scratching my head on this one. Obviously, I'm high on Iga. I usually am, but this looks like her tournament to lose.
I love that. A little plus money action before it turns to clear minus 165, you said, is what you would price it at. How have you been doing in tennis?
It's destroying. It's been an incredible year. Yeah, the Australian Open, the men's Australian Open was chef's kiss. We had Sinner at a dog price, at outright price that was 70 to 1, and then head-to-head prices for Sinner against Djokovic that I still can't believe we got. And that was a no sweat. So it's going to take a while. I'm running good enough that it's going to be a while before I'm sweating anything tennis wise.
I love that you're enjoying tennis a little more than the NBA. Right now. It sounds like.
Well, there's no games, man.
Hey, I love that. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that, Drew. Let's definitely keep making money then. I'm going to have to throw that in there. I didn't expect to be betting on tennis, but I've also been betting some golf lately after telling Mr. Brad Thomas over there. So you guys keep getting my portfolio up there, because when we start winning in March Madness, I can't be getting limited or anything like that, my friend. These little sports books hate us out here in these legal states, Drew. So enjoy California and however you got to get your money. But
Wild West.
Yeah, the wild, wild West, man. But before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to my brother. It is his 28th birthday. Happy birthday, Alex. Very proud of him. He's a senior, entering his senior year at Harvard. And he makes me very, very proud. So he's certainly going to do better things than I do in my life, Drew. He's already doing that. So no, we're pretty cool, though. But happy birthday, Alex. Enjoy your day, man. Hope everyone out there enjoys your day. Enjoy your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And make sure you guys stay safe out there. So this was Bet the Edge. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you next time.